This is John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on January the 31st in the year of our Lord 2026. January's over. We're going to start into February, and it's going to be cold. It has been cold, and it's going to be cold. But let's jump over here at Murtech on Rumble, and this is the live stream we're talking about tonight, episode 1824. Let's go ahead and get into that. I want to pause this and close out the live chat. Let me slide down here and expand the description box by clicking the Show More button. We have information from Alex Newman, Benny Johnson, Devory Darkins, and Glenn Beck. And I got a little bonus there from McWattersaffect. Okay, but let's give some shout outs here to Praya369, just started following my channel. Woodstock7 just started following my channel. And Matlid, Matt Tilde as Mom 25 just started following my channel. Uncloudy gave me a comment on my episode 1823. DMH Deplorable commented on my extra 606A, and Debbie BS also commented on my extra 606A. Debbie BS commented on my extra 606B, and Debbie BS also commented on my extra 606C. So thank you very much, folks, for your comments. I enjoy reading your feedback, and I certainly appreciate your support. And thank you for following my channel, you guys. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. Okay, let's give this a thumbs up, and then come up here, and let me remind you to give me a thumbs up on this video. Right down here below the video you're watching is a thumbs up. Go ahead and click that for me. Okay, Alex Newman, and speaking of it being cold, is the climate scam dead? Wrong. Okay, let's see what that's all about.
A number of times. And by the way, for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking with Alex Newman. He's an international journalist. He travels the world and really deals head on with some of the key cultural battles of our time. I want to get into that with him a little bit, but it's really the Liberty Sentinel is it's a media company basically that you operate, Liberty Sentinel, and the website is libertysentinel.org.
Yes, libertysentinel.org.
Check it out, friends. But on there, they'll see a lot of your videos, a lot of your interviews. You're published in so many different places. You give commentary on many different outlets. But you're dealing with issues like, for example, climate change, right? And all of that whole mythology behind it. And when we say you deal with these issues, you're going to these climate conferences. You're going in there and you're interviewing some of the key people that are shaping this whole ideology. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, you have a very lengthy, substantial presentation on, why this is just a myth. This is just ridiculous. And give us a little bit of a taste of that. And also, what is the nefarious ultimate motive for people who are pushing this false doctrine?
Yeah, the reason I focus so much on the climate change issue is because it's actually so critical to what the evildoers are doing. And to be clear, I think the vast majority of the people who believe in this, and even the vast majority of the people who are pushing it, are well-intentioned. They're deceived, but they're well-intentioned. They want to save the planet and save the whales and all the rest of it. But what's really happening here is a lie. Of course, we know who the father of lies is. Satan is the father of lies. So that should be your first clue that something is a myth here. It is literally based on lies at every point. And I could talk about the science for a long time. I've been going to these UN summits for 15 years, and actually 16 years now. The first one I went to was in Copenhagen in 2009. So I serve as senior editor at the New American. They send me every year to cover it. The motto, by the way, is that freedom shall not perish. It's a good magazine.
Love it.
And, I think there's a political agenda, there's an economic agenda, and there's a religious agenda. And so I'll take each of those briefly, and then we can dig into them more if you would like. The political agenda is very clear, and they say it all the time. The climate change is a global issue, and therefore it requires a global solution. No single nation, no single government can handle this. We all need to join forces. We need to surrender our sovereignty to these international institutions, and they will save us from this terrible gas, carbon dioxide, that incidentally we exhale about 2 pounds of every single day. So that's the political agenda, is to expand the size and scope of government.
Mm.
And this is an unwinnable war, of course. They talk about net zero CO2 emissions when every person on the planet exhales 2 pounds of CO2
You got
every
to
day.
stop breathing.
Precisely. We talk about eliminating people, right? And there is that agenda. The first climate summit I went to in Copenhagen, the Chinese Communist Party, they had their delegation there, and they were openly explaining that they should get a lot of credit for their efforts to combat CO2. And they said, look, we have the one-child policy. Each child would have emitted this much CO2. And as a result of our one-child policy, those children don't exist. Therefore, we have saved, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but we have saved X amount of CO2 from going into the atmosphere.
Right.
And, normal people were looking at this like, that's barbaric. And of
Yeah.
course it is barbaric.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think the communists understood that wouldn't be perceived well by the people at this summit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the political agenda. It's a perfect excuse to micromanage, regulate every element of life, because everything you do produces CO2, your light switch, your car, everything, you're breathing. The economic agenda, they're trying, and they have been trying for a long time, to fundamentally transform the economy of the world. They don't believe in free markets. They believe that the government ought to direct these. Say, what kind of energy can you use? How much energy can you use? When can you use it? How can you get around? Now they're after agriculture is a big one. Every element of the economy has to be transformed. And the last one, the religious element, and I just had a big article about this in the latest issue of the New America. They actually brought out this big demon-like figure at the last conference. It was in the Amazon rainforest. The Chinese gave it. It was they called it the official dragon, jaguar, guardian spirit of the climate summit. But I mean, you can boil this down. First of all, they're trying to unite all the religions of the world together, not on biblical principles, not on the truth of God's word, but on pagan principles, on pantheistic and panentheistic principles.
Yes.
And this was clearer than ever before at this latest summit in the Amazon. They had a lot of different pagans from different traditions. And it goes back to the 1960s. Professor Lynn White, Princeton, Stanford, UCLA, he made the argument that we were having an ecological crisis because of the Christian view of man and God and nature. Right? In Genesis, God gives mankind the dominion mandate. So, he put the planet here for our benefit. We are to steward it. We are to be in charge of it, and the animals and the fish and everything else. And so they argued that that's the reason we have this big problem with the environment. And the solution, therefore, is to go back to pagan principles where we talk about Mother Earth. And they're reframing sin, too. This is just amazing. I saw this in Egypt in 2022. You had this huge coalition of religious leaders. They walked to the top of Mount Sinai, and they unveiled, and anybody can verify this, they put out press releases, and they're very proud of it. They unveiled the new and supposedly improved 10 Commandments.
Look at that.
And what's incredible is the way they're reframing sin. So your sin is not your idolatry. It's not your murders, your theft, your covetousness. No. Those are not your sins. Your sin is your carbon footprint, the environmental damage.
Yes.
And so I actually interviewed one of the ringleaders of this after. He said, not only do we have the new 10 Commandments, we're also now working on the third covenant. For Christians who read their Bible, hearing this, it's like, nails on a chalkboard.
Right.
But so there you have the political, the economic, and the religious agenda all rolled up into this climate issue.
It's amazing. And on the science, if you had just a couple of minutes with somebody and said, the science supports this climate change, what are some of the key facts for people from the scientific angle, just to kind of at least get people to start rethinking, maybe I might be wrong about this?
Yeah, so the peer-reviewed literature is really now starting to show that the hypothesis that human emissions of CO2 are driving catastrophic global warming is total fraud. And I could name a bunch of these studies. I've written about them extensively in publications. But I know most of the audience here is not going to be climate scientists. It's not going to be PhDs who are going to go look in the literature. So I'll mention just a few things that anybody can verify for themselves that you don't need to have a science background to understand. First of all, the UN's been making predictions about this going back many decades. In the 70s and the 80s, some of the older folks watching might remember global cooling was the big fear. They said that human emissions of CO2 were going to cause a new ice age that was going to starve humanity. And the solution, of course, was less fossil fuels, more power and money for the government, less freedom and less money for you. Amazing that the solution was the same. So they've got a very long track record of predictions. And I could name a ton of them. I've written multiple articles about this. And literally, You could put a monkey in a cage with a set of dice and have the monkey roll the dice. The monkey would have a much better track record of forecasting future trends than the UN and all their supercomputers and science models.
Right.
So that's example number one. You don't need to be a scientist to just look at the predictions and say, you were wrong.
They didn't happen. Right.
Right. And just the laws of probability, right? If these were just well-intentioned people who got it wrong, you'd expect that maybe, half the time they'd be right, half the time they'd be wrong, or something like that. You can look at their models. They have, I believe, 73 climate models. Every single one predicted massively accelerated warming as CO2 concentrations increased. Well, of course, that didn't happen. And you can put those on a chart and you can compare it with what actually happened. It's astounding, right? And again, the laws of probability, that just doesn't make sense. And then last of all, you just have to look at the basic numbers, right? Human emissions of CO2 make up a fraction of 1% of all the greenhouse gases that are present naturally in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
One major volcanic eruption could make humanity's emissions of CO2 completely negligible, completely disappear in the big scheme of things. And so it's clear that the hypothesis is wrong, and yet they keep pushing it. Why?
Pushing it.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and pause it there. I did want you to hear that. And, it's amazing. Took the kids out to the bus the other day, when it was like 5 degrees. And I mentioned to one of the other kids' parents, I said, yeah, where's global warming when you really need it? And he said, yeah, unfortunately, this cold weather is part of it. What the? I just kind of shook my head and walked away. It's like, really? This cold is making the planet warmer. Okay? Unbelievable how people are brainwashed. All right, well, let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Liberty Sentinel. This is the video I shared with you, Alex Newman at Liberty Sentinel. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here and see what's next with Benny Johnson. Yikes. Black comedian triggers Illhan Omar psychotic public meltdown. Okay, well, let's check it out.
Pirate winery, I'm Minnesota's in the family. Pirate winery, this is our home.
What's up, guys? Spenny. The comedians always know. Comedians always have it. They feel it in their bones when something is real and something is fake because, well, their entire lives are made on making fun of reality. And that's why the comedian, Terrence Williams, who we're huge fans of at this program, I've known Terrence for a long time. He was the first person that I could see at scale responding to Illhan Omar's fake attack, and he went viral doing it. 13,000 reposts, 1 million views, 54,000 likes. Here's what he had to say.
After some stage, I don't care what nobody say, watch.
Must to resign
Wait for
or
it.
face impeachment.
Lights, camera, action.
So Illhan Omar gets sprayed.
I don't know. Because you set it up. You know what it was. It was nothing.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
I need a napkin to know. Yes. And you just gonna continue to talk? You got to be crazy. Y'all, this is staged. It was set up. I'm sorry. If somebody, if you sprayed, I don't care if I know you. If you randomly spray me with something, I'm running to the bathroom. So I'm washing my eyes out. Okay? I am calling the poison control center. I'm not just gonna continue about my day like nothing happened after some random person sprayed me with something, some crazy person at that.
Facts.
Y'all, I might have been born, but I wasn't born yesterday.
Okay, so this goes viral, and then we learn that Terrence is completely right. That, of course, what should have happened is she should have run to the hospital and changed her clothes, and that's what any normal person would do. Who knows? It could have been the bubonic plague. It could have been SARS. It could have been acid. There are a lot of acid attacks in the Muslim community. Nobody knows what it was that was sprayed on Illhan Omar. It could have been contagious. What about all the other people in the room? What about all the reporters and all of our supporters? Hazmat crew reveals that people like Terrence, who said that Illhan Omar knew what this substance was the whole time and knew it was harmless. Apple cider vinegar. So the foul, mystery brownish liquid was apple cider vinegar. This is, of course, a household item that everybody has. You can buy it anywhere because it is harmless. You can do shots of it. I don't know if I'd recommend that, but you can. Sources tell me that it was apple cider vinegar that Illhan Omar had sprayed on her at last night's event. Confirm that. So everybody who said, Illhan Omar, this seems completely staged because Illhan Omar, didn't react like any normal person would react being sprayed with a strange liquid. You're right. We need common sense apple cider vinegar regulation in America. Last night's attack on Omar, it's time to demand direct action. We need a complete federal ban on apple cider vinegar. Update, she got sprayed with apple cider vinegar. Yeah. This goes far beyond just the apple cider vinegar. Congress must also regulate balsamic rice, distilled malt, and other aceto-industrial complex. Ladies and gentlemen. Terrence Williams has been on this dog with a bone and won't let go. And he says, Dear Illhan Omar, I spoke with Poison Control. And their instructions were very clear and you didn't follow any of them. This is amazing. It inspired Illhan Omar to respond and throw a fit and lose her mind. It's really funny. If you are sprayed with an unknown substance, get fresh air immediately. Don't touch your face. Remove contaminated clothing. Rinse skin and eyes with running water for 15 minutes. Wash with soap and water. Seek medical attention. Call Poison Control. You didn't do any of these things on the list because it was staged, says Terrence Williams. She didn't, and you can see it. She speaks for another 10 minutes, even though she reeks and has some strange liquid on her. Strange liquid, but everyone's saying, well, do you know what the liquid was? Did you know it was harmless? Why would you behave this way if you didn't know that it was harmless? Also, why would you respond to something like this if you weren't guilty in this manner? Here we go. Illhan Omar, the official Illhan Omar account that has 2.7 million subscribers, saying, I didn't do any of these things because I fear losing my dignity more than I fear losing my life. What? Something you coward losers will never understand. So off. You fear losing your dignity more than your life? So you'd rather be dead than lose your dignity? And what do you mean lose your dignity? This is what the Poison Control Center says. How is this losing your dignity to go wash yourself and change your clothes? Is that losing your dignity to take a shower and change your clothes? This is what losing your dignity means? Is this something that I don't understand because I'm not a Somali refugee? Wash with soap and water. Is that losing your dignity? Seek medical attention. Rinse your skin. Literally, it just says take a shower, change your clothes, and contact Poison Control. I didn't do those things because I fear losing my dignity more than losing my life. None of this makes any sense. What is the bananas? Maybe more than I fear bananas and rice, right? F off. Okay, yeah, sure. You're a fraud and everybody knows it. Illhan Omar Winery. Yeah, I'm so proud to contribute that one. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You fear losing your dignity. This is just pathetic at this point. It's so fake, it's unreal. Trump needs to get rid of her and send her back to Somalia. He refuses to let her back in with his power. You cannot.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. Let me click on the Rumble link here and show you that this video does come from Benny Johnson. I'm following the channel. I'm giving him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here and see what we've got next. All right, I've been doing a little chatting here with Foxy Grandma and Susie Poll 2016 and Debbie BS. Thank you guys for your chats. Okay, Devory Darkins. Trump drops brutal news for Congress after Hakeem Jeffries suffers humiliating setback. Well, isn't that a shame? Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, well, let's see what this is all about.
Now, this is actually funny because Hakeem Jeffries essentially had to walk his comments back after he threatened Kristi Noem earlier today in his press conference. We'll show you the clip, of course, of exactly what he said. But this comes as the president just announced. So this is also breaking news that a potential deal between the White House and Congress to keep the government funded is on the table, pending everybody showing up and actually voting. Here's his actual quote: "I am working hard with Congress to ensure that we are able to fund the government without delay. Republicans and Democrats in Congress have come together to get the vast majority of the government funded until September, while at the same time providing an extension to the Department of Homeland Security and, very important, Coast Guard, which we are expanding and rebuilding like never before." Hopefully they all vote a bipartisan yes. We'll get to all of this in this video, but first, like this video, share this video, leave a comment down below, and please do not forget to subscribe. So what exactly did Hakeem Jeffries say? Well, listen to it for yourself.
I did reiterate in my conversation with Speaker Johnson that we intend to proceed with impeachment proceedings if Kristi Noem is not fired. Kristi Noem is a complete and total embarrassment. She's a disgrace. And on top of all of that, she's presided over the cold-blooded killings of American citizens. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently.
Yeah, so those particular comments, some people thought they were threatening, saying that she needs to be put on ice. You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. But he did go on to say some things about Stephen Miller by calling him the architect of Donald Trump's toxic immigration policies, called him a stone cold liar, a bigot, a hateful individual, etc., etc. And of course, no solutions or what they are actually doing to help the American people economically, that is, because usually you're not hearing that from Democrats. They only bring it up when they absolutely have to. Right now, their focus is to try to get at least one of these cabinet members out of the administration. They've been trying so hard, but they have not found any level of success at this point. Now, let's go to Hakeem Jeffries once again. Be patient here. Here is Bill Melugin from Fox News catching up with him later in the day, confronting him over his comments. Take a look.
Jeffries, do you have any regrets about the way you phrased the comment about Secretary Northern?
I've been very clear as it relates. Who are you, by the way?
Fox News.
I've been very clear about the fact that Secretary Noem should either be fired or we will commence impeachment proceedings. What is unclear about that? That's what I've said.
Well, saying she should be put on ice permanently, don't you think that?
No. Go question the president about what he had to say about Illhan Omar. Go talk to the president about the fact that he threatened the execution of 4 members of the United States House of Representatives who served this country in the military, or 2 members of the United States Senate. Don't talk to me about something where you know I've been very clear about what I've said, that Kristi Noem should be fired because she's out of control. And if she's not fired, we're going to commence impeachment proceedings. What's unclear about that? Well, something ambiguous about that?
Well, it's just, don't you think both sides should be helping turn the temperature down a little bit?
Now, here's an interesting fact, just briefly here. Earlier today, the president had a cabinet meeting, and he called on everyone except one person, and that is Kristi Noem. So I find that to be interesting, but maybe it's nothing. At any rate, they're so hard-pressed about Kristi Noem because they know they have to try to hold someone accountable in their words, and she's on the chopping block, okay? They'd really love it to be Stephen Miller. I just don't think they're ever going to get a chance. But let me just say this. Isn't it fascinating how he loses his mind once Bill literally points out the obvious that, hey, why are you being so hypocritical? I thought you're trying to turn down the rhetoric. And then he justifies his heated rhetoric because of the president. You see the game that they continue to play? It's like watching children. Speaking of that game, let's go to this woman who was actually arrested for storming into the church. I want you to hear her comments because she's been released, and now she's in front of a camera saying this.
We had belly chains around our waist, and we had handcuffs with bars in the middle. As someone who majored in African American studies, I can tell you that that is the closest I ever felt to slavery in my life. Being shackled as if I was a slave. It is unacceptable and unconscionable, but it's on brand
Now, she's a woman along with Clown Lemon that stormed into that church in Minnesota. Her name is Nakia Levy Armstrong, and she's absolutely delusional, okay? Let me tell you guys something in case you need this insight. She has no idea what slavery truly feels like. Not even her parents know what it feels like. Not even her grandparents knows what it feels like. That's how delusional these people are. It's fascinating. All right. This type of rhetoric, of course, has led to people doing the unforgivable, in my opinion, and that is when they're now approaching members of the federal government and mistaking them for ICE agents. Take a look at this.
Well, this appears to be a case of mistaken identity. Some TSA officers were eating dinner here. Someone thought they were ICE, and then the crowd showed up. Whistles and horns blaring of anger in Linwood.
Real agent got this from ICE.
A crowd of anti-ICE protesters swarming a restaurant after reports that off-duty ICE agents were inside, but law enforcement sources tell Fox 11 this may be a case of mistaken identity. The agents weren't ICE, but instead TSA officers eating dinner.
ICE.
LA County Sheriff's deputies called in for crowd control, eventually calming the situation. Talk to y'all about what happened?
Oh, sure. Who are you guys with?
We're at Channel 11.
Oh, Fox?
Channel 11, Fox 11, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We asked an organizer what happened.
No comment.
Oh, we just want to ask what happened.
No, I know, but I just don't trust Fox.
She refused to speak with us, saying it was because we're Fox. Did you guys think it was ICE?
Potentially.
Yeah.
All right. So, number one, I'm going to show you a little bit more of this, but I just have to say this. These people weren't even wearing ICE uniforms or their TSA uniforms. They're just regular people, okay, in civilian clothing. Number two, if you're going to accuse someone of being an ICE agent, wouldn't you at least ask for their ID and demand them prove otherwise? You'd think they would have done that in this situation because we've seen that in Minnesota, of course. And number three, the police had to be called to calm things down because once people started to say that ICE agents were at this restaurant, a whole group showed up and started to cause a disturbance. Now, let's get back to the rest of this clip. Watch this.
When we turned to restaurant workers for answers, the organizer followed us inside, recording and telling employees in Spanish not to speak with us either.
Yeah, sorry to you. Nobody to talk to you.
Outside, straggler protesters also recording our camera, trying to stay incognito.
I think there's a place and time for everything.
This man arrived moments after the chaos ended to eat at the restaurant it all started. These are TSA agents.
You want to understand, people get very emotional, so they easily make mistakes. It happens. You take it out on the wrong people, which same thing as ICE. They say they're after criminals, but they're taking it out on everybody.
The TSA workers eventually escorted out safely with no arrest or injuries.
All right, now I have something to show you guys because if you're like me, where you like to travel, you like to hike, you like to go hunting, or just travel in general in the outdoors, but you hate being cold, you should have a bearskin hoodie for yourself. I have one, and I'm telling you right now, it's the last hoodie you're ever going to need because when I spend money on clothes personally here, I want to spend money on clothes that will last. 36 community, that is 36912 to get your bearskin hoodie today. At the end of the day, when you are protesting at a restaurant, where the people of the community are eating at, especially probably with their families, you've lost the plot, people. I mean, I don't understand why they don't get that, you know? Now, I'm not surprised because this was in California. I mean, these people are delusional. This is Southern California, Linwood, California, to be exact. So it's just disturbing that this whole protest that is so peaceful is pulling people over who are innocent, asking for their ID. So literally, they are becoming the thing that they claim ICE is. Just keep that in your mind, all right? Now, let's go to one more clip. Here is the TSA agents walking out the restaurant and being harassed.
Oh, you can. Let me show you, but
You want to harass people, huh?
No.
How does it feel to be fucking harassed?
No.
How
So he did not deny he does work for. He did not deny it. He did not. Look.
How does it fucking feel?
He did not deny it. He did not deny it.
How does it fucking feel to be harassed?
Look.
How does it fucking feel?
That's you.
How does it feel?
Look. He said it. He said it was him. He said it was him. He said it. He confirmed it is you. He confirmed. Look. They confirmed it. He confirmed. He did confirm. He works for Homeland Security.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. I know this isn't always the best thing to hear or watch, but I'm showing you what's happening in our country. You have a good amount of people who are buying into this behavior, highly emotional, and a lack of critical thinking skills. You'd think they have better things to do than to literally disrupt a restaurant and the peace. But they don't, because they feel justified in their outlandish behavior because they believe ICE agents are the problem. But by believing that, they actually become the problem. Now, let me show you this clip because this is what they're fighting against. I don't think ICE is going to slow down, just so we understand. Here are the updated numbers about what they've been able to accomplish over the past month. Take a look at this.
From other states, there's been 88,000 criminal illegal aliens arrested in Texas, 34,000 in Florida, 30,000 in California, 12,000 in New York, 12,000 in Georgia. Yet we haven't seen the same level of chaos in any of those states as we have in Minnesota, and in particular, one city, Minneapolis.
You guys give me your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. Started with Hakeem Jeffries making a fool of himself, of course, those empty threats towards Kristi Noem that lead to nowhere. Also, what do you make of these leftist protesters or agitators, that is, storming into a restaurant trying to harass these TSA agents because they thought they were ICE agents? What is this world coming to? That's why on our show, we call it Common Sense Commentary for these uncommon times, because literally these are uncommon times. I just don't understand it and don't get it. But give me your thoughts about everything you watched in this video in the comment section below. All right, now let's go to the state of Minnesota, particularly the governor, who was blindsided by the announcement from the attorney general that the county jails will now contact ICE when they're about to release a criminal illegal alien. This obviously comes as the governor just had these nice phone calls with the president and then walked back to all his comments. If you guys missed out on that update and more, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.
All right, let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Devory Darkins. It's the video I shared with you. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here. And it's a little lighthearted here from Glenn Beck. I guess Stu is leaving me after 28 years for this. Okay, well, this is a little bit humorous here, so let's take a listen.
GlennBeck.com, there's going to be a special 4th hour today. Q&A for Stu's last day. Stu's leaving the program. Is the job done? No, but he's quitting anyway because that's the kind of guy he is. He's a quitter. But
why would I want to leave?
I do want to play something. This is the one and only time Stu ever did Tim Walz because his throat hurt afterwards. A little baby couldn't handle it anymore. But it was the day that Tim Walz was going to do the debate. Here it is. Welcome to the program. We have Tim on the phone. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Glenn.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Glenn. I'm Tim Walz.
Tim Walz.
Hello.
Hi.
I debate tonight. Will you watch?
Well, we're going to be watching on Blaze TV. You're debating tonight. That's good. Yeah.
I like fishing.
I know. I know you like fishing. Yeah.
I coach football. Did you like the football?
I heard you were a coach.
Did you see the football? It's the same shape as my head.
As your what?
As my head.
As your head?
Yes, I have a head, but people say my head look like football.
Right. Okay.
I like fishing and hunting.
Right. I know. Can I ask?
I thought J.D. Vance is weird. Did you know J.D. Vance is weird? I'm going to say that tonight on the debate stage. J.D. Vance is weird. I like balloons. I mean on debate tonight. Did you know I was the man in front of Tank at Sentiment Square? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Glenn. I fought in World War II. This is Tim Walz.
I know, Tim. How are you still on the phone?
I was talking for 7 minutes and you did not answer.
Okay, because I thought we had hung up. You had hung
we
up.
have a saying in Minnesota. Mind your own damn business.
Okay. All right. Okay.
JD Vance is weird.
Yeah, okay. We're going to talk to you about the JD Vance debate.
I like poodles.
What?
Poodles.
Poodles?
I like poodles. I like it.
Okay. Okay. Tim Walz, hang up the phone, please. Can you?
Glenn,
Yes.
I love you.
Okay.
I talked about you on debate night. You watched debate tonight.
All right.
Will you? Mind your own damn business.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling Tim. Can you cut him off, please?
How do we get paid for this? I have no understanding.
That's the best impression I ever heard.
I've been working on it for a while. Yeah, it's actually been in development for a while. I've been really thinking about it. I think I've nailed it. I mean, if all those phrases came out of his mouth tonight, would you know the difference? Any idea?
We may have a very special guest after tonight's debate on TV. Tim Walz may have to stand by and come on the program tonight, so you don't want to miss that. This is the only time. This is the only time that Tim Walz ever appeared on the program, because Stu finished it. He was like, "Ow, my throat really hurts." And I'm like, "Sacrifice for comedy, man."
It's amazing that I would ever leave a job that would pay me to do that. It doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I like blew my voice out after that. The whole rest of the day.
I think that might have not been the actual what you were doing as much as the hate that came with that.
Yes, it was the pure Tim Walz concentrated hatred that was associated with that particular voice.
Right.
Oh, what a day!
So Stu, you are leaving, and you haven't announced to anybody yet what you're doing. So can you announce? Can you? Tell us, please?
Yeah, we can talk about it. It's been something. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing for the last 28 years together, but actually also close as well. Parts of the stuff that we've been doing here for a long time. One of my roles here in the program has kind of been chief data nerd, guy who looks at the elections and tries to predict the outcomes to them and analyzes all that stuff. And so I'm starting a new company that is revolving in the world of prediction markets. If you don't know what they are, they've kind of only become widespread over the past year or so. But basically, you can kind of look and invest on whether anything is going to happen, yes or no. A simple question: will this happen or not? Yes or no, and you predict the outcome. And if you're correct, you can profit off of that information.
Wait. Mm-hmm. So hold it just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Are you analyzing those sites, or are you starting? Are you falling in with the mob?
Look, if the mob has money they want to hand me for this operation, I'll listen to you. But no, this is like, the company's going to be doing a few different things, but the one that's probably interesting to the audience is we're going to have a show. It's going to be called Predictable with Stu Burgier. You can go check it out now. It's at predictableshow.com. And there you
By the way, I trademarked your name, so.
Oh, right. So I can't even use my own name.
Something else.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You've always been a helper, Glenn. That's really nice.
I know. Oh,
it's just a licensing fee. He'll let me use it as long as I just pay him instantly.
Hey, two can play the mob thing, okay?
That's true. I can be shaken down with the best of them.
That's right.
But the show is going to analyze the news, the things that we talk about every day, kind of a special focus on the elections, considering we're going into election time. And that's been something, somewhat of an expertise of mine for a while. And we're going to be talking about all these news events as they relate to these prediction markets. And, I think it really gives, the free market that we talk about all the time, that makes the world a better place, that improves the world, that does so many amazing things, can be applied here as sort of an engine to find the truth. The media is obviously going down the wrong road with this. They're incentivized to lie to you. They want you to go the total opposite direction. They're trying to move you to get to the right side of history all the time. I mean, we're in a time
where a Supreme Court justice can't answer a question about what a woman is. They don't want to tell you the truth. And what I love about prediction markets, and it's a really unique thing with them, is you have to put your money where your mouth is. You're betting, you're investing with your own real money, and people don't lie when that is on the line. They'll lie to you on television. They won't lie to you there.
We've always thought this was the right thing. I mean, remember DARPA did this right after 9/11, and they said we're going to go to the Five Eyes and to people who study terrorism, and we're going to let them invest in a kind of a stock market, if you will, of where do they think the most likely terrorist attacks are going to come from? How are they going to do it? And it was stopped because everybody was like, "That's an outrage." No, that is a very good way. Get people to put their money on where are the weaknesses? Where do they see things? I just think that is the way to find out how people really feel.
Yeah. And like the elections are a really good example of this, right? You have the media telling you who they want to win. They're constantly pushing one way or the other. You've got the campaigns that are lying to you about whether they're going to win or not. You have, you also have a lot of people who are telling you exactly what you want to hear about the election. Your guy's going to win. Don't worry about it. I want what's actually going to happen. I want the truth. And these markets can really do damage in that world. They can cut through the punditry. I really, really like in today's world. I think it's a really important additional layer that we don't have really in our coverage right now. So that is a big part of it. It's at predictableshow.com. Please go there. If you, by the way, are going to, if you go there, put your email address in for free, you'll get a 2026 Senate preview. We're going to give you the outline as to what the Senate race is going to look like in 2026, kind of a starting point for everyone to be able to understand what we are facing here in the next few months, which are going to be pretty intense. So go there and put your email address in. That's going to be part of it. Now, I also will say another interesting layer, prediction markets aren't perfect. They don't always have the right answers. And that's good, because when they have the wrong answers, you are able to profit off of this. And this is something that I have been doing on, behind the scenes on my own dime for a long time, over a decade now. Been using prediction markets myself, paid for a lot of vacations over the years because of it. And it's been really, really good. And I think it's a much more accessible way for people to invest, right? Like you can go in and try to predict what a stock's going to do.
It's a great invest. It's a great way to. It's gambling, Stu.
It is not gambling. Glenn, I have gambled.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. It is not. It is legally not gambling.
First of all,
absolutely right.
You are accurate.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. And show you folks that this video does come from Glenn Beck. And that was pretty humorous there at the beginning, a little lightheartedness. I'm subscribed to his channel on YouTube, and I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here. And Foxy Grandma was right down here when she said Hakeem meant every single word he said. Yes, he did. That, man, I'll tell you what, they sure are jumping up and down about impeachment. They want to impeach everybody. I hope they don't impeach me. Okay, let's get over here to McWattersaffect. Joe Rogan and Andrew Wilson expose the Riot Justification scam. All right, let's check this out.
I know it's on YouTube, but it's this amazing campaign speech. Where you got it? This is 2008. Is it 2008? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Here it is. Listen to this. I love this one.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If
Cheers from the Democrats.
If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line.
You're going to learn English. Everybody's cheering.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. And now
you're a Nazi.
Trump's a Nazi.
Yeah.
Trump's a Nazi.
That is more right-wing than Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I don't know if it's more right wing than Marjorie Taylor Greene, but what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We really appreciate it. But today we're going to be talking about this interview that Joe Rogan did with Andrew Wilson when it comes to immigration and other things like that.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy this. Please stick with us. We would appreciate if you'd like, share, and subscribe.
Now, in this first video we're going to show you, it's them talking about what happened in Minnesota with the shooting. Let's go ahead and check it out.
I'm even willing to kind of grant it to the left, just on appearance alone for a second, just for the sake of like logically taking this to its conclusion. Let's say that the cops were totally wrong on this. They messed the whole thing up. They screwed it up. It was a negligent discharge from the officer himself. It killed this guy. It was totally unjustified. Okay, but now what? Right? Is it the case that we're going to stop deporting illegal immigrants? We're going to stop, that ICE is going to stop, Border Patrol is going to stop doing its job. ICE is going to stop doing its job because of a single incident, even if all of the officers involved were incorrect? Of course not. That's ridiculous, right? The thing about this incident is it's being used as a catalyst to now say they're the Gestapo, just like they were trying to do with Renee. They're the Gestapo.
Yeah, I agree. It's allowing them to try to justify, first things, defunding ICE, the Democrats itself, and when it comes politically. It's also used to justify everything they're doing afterwards when it comes to like any kind of violence they might portray against the ICE or against any other officer that might be helping them, whether it be police or FBI or so on and so forth. So from now on, they're going to use this incident to justify everything they do after that.
They're certainly going to try, but his question is right on point. Now what? I mean, you're going to still enforce the law. You are going to still enforce immigration law specifically. So I think it would behoove people to not come out and fight with federal agents.
Well, the thing is, what we're seeing is, and what I'm trying to say is, what they're going to do is they're going to ramp it up, not ramp it down.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're probably right.
They're here to be the jackbooted thugs of the Trump administration. That's being used now as the new rallying cry and catalyst and it's post hoc justification. That's what makes me so angry about it. It's like, no. You're out here doing all of this long before anybody was getting shot by ICE. Okay, you were doing this long before there was any supposed abuses by ICE. It seems like what they do is they set up the reactions, right? They set up the conditions, maximize the conditions for horrible actions to happen, and then when they do, they use those as the justification for why they were ever out there in the first place. And it's like, what's going on here? That's what bothers me.
Right.
He's pretty much saying the same thing I just said, and not only that. You want to see another example of what he's describing? What happened to Illhan Omar when she got sprayed with apple cider vinegar? That right there, in my opinion, just like what happened with Renee Good and what happened with Alex Pretty, was a setup in order to justify, keep on ramping things up to make things worse in Minnesota and nationwide.
Yeah, to your point, they really don't care how many people have to die. They actually need people to die to bolster their argument. So I mean, it's like a death cult, this whole liberal philosophy, and again, stay away from it.
This is the quintessential description of the color revolution. I mean, they're trying to create chaos. And it's very well funded and very well organized. It's not as simple as this is an organic protest that people are fired up because ICE is in their community. That's not really what's going on
at all.
But I think there's a lot of good people that are wrapped up in that think they're doing a good thing, and they really do think they're fighting fascism because they exist in these bubbles, and they're.
I believe them.
Yeah,
I do believe them that they think that they're fighting against fascism. And I've debated with enough of these people on what historically fascism is in comparison to what they perceive it as, that I do think that they believe that 100%.
Right.
I just think it's an unjustified belief, and I think it's ridiculous.
It's not accurate.
I think they do totally believe it. There's a core group of them, more than not, that absolutely believe they're doing something good. And as evidence of that, the other day we played a video of the airport of people, protesting and walking through the airport. And in one 10-second shot, Matt showed, I counted like a dozen kids. Parents were bringing their children to this, like this is something they want them to remember, that they were part of this protest and they're doing the right thing and protecting, people who need our protecting. And the reality is, no, you're pretty much sticking up for breaking the law. You're sticking up for obstructing ICE, who is trying to remove people who came here contrary to our laws. They do not have the right to be in America. They don't have the right to use our medical services. They don't have the right to get these huge checks they were getting under Joe Biden every month. I mean, I remember you and I calculated like it was more than $60,000 a year they were getting, not counting medical. Okay, so just 60 grand in checks. We can't afford that. There's no Americans who are getting that type of treatment. So this isn't some good thing that they're doing. They just have a fundamental flaw in their belief system.
I don't know if it's a fundamental flaw, but I think they're caught in this information out there from not only from the schools they go to, but also from the news they get, whether it's online or the mainstream media. And that stuff is powerful. That stuff can convince you up is down and down is up. It can also convince you to go out there and put your life on the line for people that wouldn't do it for you in the first place. And that's exactly what I think is happening here. They're useful idiots, is what I think the communists would call them. They're cannon fodder for the movement, which they're not going to have anything to do with the movement. Matter of fact, when the movement gets set up in the United States, let's say if something like that happened, they would more likely be with the rest of us and would be the serfs that would be out there working for slave labor. So, in my opinion, they just don't know exactly what they're actually protesting, because they see what they perceive as injustice, when really what they're actually seeing is something every country does anyway, and that is enforce their borders and enforce their immigration. And the thing is, that stuff is ugly. And these people have been taught with emotions to, when you see something like this, you say something. Instead of actually, when you see something like this is just your country working the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, these people have been also, I think, been coddled their whole life. Most of them are rich white people. That are doing this. They're useful idiots, like I called them before, like communists would call them. And I think really what needs to happen at this point is, I think you got to double down. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens here, especially in Minnesota. And I completely agree with Andrew on this one. But now we're going to go to this next video where he is saying the left likes recruiting mentally ill people. And there's a reason for that. It kind of goes along with what we've been talking about with the immigration. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video.
And I can't prove this, but it's been my experience that left-wing communities and left-wing groups, especially online communities and online groups, really pander to the mentally ill in a big way, really pander to them. And I think that it's a form of weaponization. They want to attract the extremely mentally ill into these communities, and it helps with actually what is radicalization.
Perfect example of that is the trans identity issue.
Hey, or bringing your kids to a protest, your 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. You can't protect them out there in the public like that.
And they play on the fact that they're mentally ill in order to do this.
Well, this is Antifa, right? Like this is why
it's not just Antifa. It goes beyond that.
Sure.
Like, if you go to some of these TikTokers communities, you go to some of the online political pundits communities who are far left. Okay, these people who are in there are Fruit Loops, man.
Yeah,
they are lunatics. and they're pandered to. They're pandered to. Oh, okay, you can't say this to them. That's ableist. You can't tell them this is you're a weirdo.
Not only are they pandered to, they're also provided with an income from the Democrat Party as well. And depending on how far left it is, they also get money from the Democrat Socialist Party as well. So there is a lot of money going into these people that are putting out misinformation. And not only that, a lot of the people that watch them, as well as themselves, have mental health issues.
Yeah, as an example, the one guy who was telling everyone to suit up and, get their pew-pews and go after ICE, well, he's in jail this morning, and he's looking at a nice prison sentence. So that's where that thinking leads.
And people don't care about death. They don't care. Like, the outcome's going to be death. That guy who shot at the ICE agents not too long ago. Remember, he was on top of the roof. He was shooting across with, I think, a Mauser rifle, and they dusted him. They killed him, or he shot himself. I don't remember which.
When was this?
This was a few months back.
I don't know about this one. I don't think.
This is the incident that happened in Dallas where the guy wrote on the cartridge, I believe he wrote "Kill ICE," and it happened about a week or a couple days after what happened to Charlie Kirk, where Charlie Kirk's shooter did the same thing, but only cartridge, so it was a copycat. So he was shooting at an ICE facility, and then he shot himself.
No, there was a guy. He was
just how callous have become.
Yeah, he was taking shots at, I believe it was ICE agents in front of the ICE facility.
Oh, that's right.
He was
I
using, I believe he was using like a Mauser rifle or something.
Yeah, okay, now I remember.
And early on with the Charlie Kirk thing, they were actually making these connections because he had used a Mauser as well, right, to shoot Charlie Kirk. That was so people were making those early connections. Wait, is this a sequence of events? Does the Mauser mean something here? Does that particular rifle have special meaning? You know how people are online.
Yeah.
But anyway, the interesting thing is, like, they don't care if they die. They're dying martyrs. They don't care. And it's really easy to weaponize mentally ill people that way because they don't care. These are the same people who have the high suicide rates for a reason, because they're already mentally ill, like the Troons and others, which many of them you find are connected to trans people, almost every.
Now, the interesting thing is he called them a death cult. He mentions that they don't care if they die. They also don't care if they kill the kids either. Perfect example is abortion. And now, before I paused it, what was he talking about? Trans. And how that actually, whenever you get your kids involved in that as a parent, it completely destroys this kid's ability to actually function in the real world.
Also, SSRIs.
Yep.
This is the other problem, is that how many of these people are on these psychiatric medications that violent ideation is a part of the side effects of these these psychiatric drugs. There's a lot of people that have psychotic thoughts when they get on some of these different SSRIs and different psychiatric medications. So you've got people that are already fucked up mentally, and then you've got them on these medications that cause them to do all kinds of crazy things.
And aren't women taking much more in the way of SSRI pills than men are?
Yeah.
And who do we see is on the bullhorns and loudspeakers at most of these events? It's women.
Well, particularly liberal women.
Particularly liberal women, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen.
It's just like we're seeing with these, like the Nashville shooter and different shooters all over. They all have in common that they're on these SSRIs. And, I think those probably do more harm than good. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I keep seeing them associated with huge cultural issues. And I think when you boil this down, these are useful idiots. These are people that are easily manipulable, and they use that to their advantage because they don't, part of the goal is, we already said, they know there's going to be some deaths. They want that because it puts their cause on the front page.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you know anything about the Communist Party or even the Democrat Party, in my opinion, their religion is their belief system when it comes to politics. It's not actually God or Christianity or Islam. Islam or anything else like that. They don't believe in the afterlife either, or in heaven. So they look at it and they're like this: look, we need to do what we have to do in order to get things accomplished. And if we die, we die. We just go back in the dirt and become part of become part of Gaia. That's what they believe. They don't believe in anything else other than that. So I kind of look at it as, like Andrew Wilson called it, a death cult. And that's the reason they don't mind actually sacrificing or become a martyr to the movement itself, because then they think they'll be remembered in history. That's what it's about. It's about being remembered in history of accomplishing what they want to accomplish in the United States. And that is going further and further to left towards communism. And only communism can work in the United States. It can't work anywhere else. I don't know why. It just hasn't.
Yeah, it's like the Bible quote, eat and drink and be merry, for tomorrow we die, if there's no God. And that's exactly what you see from them. In fact, it's even a little worse, because they worship the planet. And another Bible verse, they worship the creation and not the creator. That's what we're seeing. It's like, save the whales, but get rid of the babies. It makes no sense.
All right, guys, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed. Please hit that like button.
Okay, please hit that like button. There we go. Let me show you that this video does come from McWattersaffect. And man, they really put out some good stuff. They really do. I like sharing their information. I share it on, I post their videos on Mertech.com. I share their information a lot in my daily news wrap up. They put together some good stuff. I'll have to admit that. Okay, this does come from McWattersaffect. The video I shared with you, I'm following their channel. I've given them a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's jump back here. And folks, let me remind you that these videos that I've shared with you are videos that come directly from the producers that created them. Okay, the links to the videos are right here in the description box, as well as the links to their channel. So if you want to visit their channel and see what other information they have available, by all means do so. And as I mentioned earlier, these videos that I share with you are videos that I've posted here on Mertech.com, where I have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos. The link to Mertech.com is in the description box. This is your one-stop shop for no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. The kind of information that you're not going to get from the mainstream media. Now, I'd like to share all this information with you, all 55 videos, but unfortunately I don't have the time. But I have put together my daily news wrap-up, where I do have a lot more information in here. Some of this information I'm going to post on my on Mertech.com tomorrow, so you'll get to see it ahead of time. But I've got 24 videos in here, about 8 or 9 hours worth of great information from SGT Report, News for Reasonable People, The Mel K Show, Robert Gouveia talking about Minnesota federal judge caves on ice. Oh my goodness. Benny Johnson, Devory Darkins, all kinds of great information here. Paul Joseph Watson, Tim Cast, official Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. So go ahead and take a break. Grab a donut and a cup of coffee, or a sandwich and a soft drink, or beer, or you can have a nice glass of wine and some cheese, and meet me back here at 9:30 and we'll get this going. Give me a chance to get my Rumble Studio set up and go through my list to make sure everything's lined up correctly. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you for being with me. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless.